first, fast, accurate. With Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
We are just 1 week away from the Indiana primary, and right now we are seeing a lot of attention being paid to our state and our area in particular.
Yeah, Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton is touring the AM General plant in St. Joseph County right now, and WSBT 22's Patrick Roth is live there. Patrick, pretty much the whole country paying a lot of attention to the Hoosier State.
Eric, you can kind of see here behind me, this is a pretty packed room. There are people who are filtering back in from that tour with Secretary Clinton. And as you might imagine, there is a lot of national and international media here. I was actually talking to a guy who came in from Bulgaria earlier to cover this race. Now, right now, former Secretary Clinton has a big lead over her opponent, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. But Indiana could still play a very important role in the Democratic primary. In fact, it could wind up being the deciding state. But polls show it is a very, very, very tight race here in Indiana.
In theory, right, I mean, I think you want to, and when you're making a visit to any state, make sure you are energizing your base, getting them to the polls. The primary is a week from today, so she wants to make sure she's here to get those voters excited about getting out next week.
Now, the room is mainly filled with AM General employees, but there are, as you'd expect, some local Democratic politicians here. Mayor Buttigieg is here along with Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly endorsed Hillary Clinton earlier in the year. Now, right now, former Secretary Clinton is not up on stage yet, but we're expecting her to start talking any moment.
Yeah, and we'll be listening to some of her remarks when she does take that podium.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much. We'll head out to AM General in just a bit. Now, Clinton's Democratic opponent, Bernie Sanders, coming to the Hoosier State tomorrow. Sanders holding a town hall meeting in West Lafayette at Purdue. He will then have a rally at Indiana University, Bloomington as well.
And on the Republican side, Ted Cruz will be in our area in just a few days. He will be in LaPorte Sunday. That event starts at 8:30 Eastern Time. It'll be at the LaPorte Civic Auditorium. Tickets are free. Meantime, John Kasich canceled all campaign events in Indiana. He is attending a private fundraiser in Indianapolis today, though. And we told you yesterday, Cruz and Kasich now teaming up to stop Donald Trump from getting enough delegates to win that nomination. Former IU basketball coach Bob Knight expected to campaign with Trump in Indianapolis. Trump returning to the Indiana State Fairgrounds tomorrow night. Knight won 3 NCAA championships at IU. He still remains widely admired by many Hoosiers.
Well, the presidential primary is exciting Hoosiers. Early voting numbers are way up compared to 2012. In St. Joseph County, early voting has already surpassed the 2012 primary, and there's still a week left. In Elkhart County, they're expecting more than double their numbers from 4 years ago. Local party leaders say their voters are fired up for the ever-important primary next week.
You know, the excitement level is just, it's really high, and it's definitely reaching a peak for as far as we've been all year.
You know, Indiana's become very relevant this year, which is exciting, I think, for all Hoosiers to see that here we are, you know, we're getting visits from presidential candidates left and right now.
Local party leaders say the presidential candidates have reached out to them. No official announcements, though, on Trump or Sanders stopping in Michiana.
And as we count down to Indiana's crucial primary, you can count on WSBT 22 to bring you the latest developments on the campaign trail. You can also download our WSBT 22 app to stay up to date.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Rudkin back in the Forecast Center. A really cloudy day today, a whole lot different than yesterday. Storm tracker radar shows that it's all clear out there right now, but a live-looking Elkhart reiterates dealing with some stubborn clouds over about 2,000 feet or so above the ground. Want to show you temperatures right now. Much cooler. Look at the 40s along the lakeshore here. 43 Michigan City, 52 Benton Harbor. Closer inland, we're in the 60s down here towards Warsaw. It's nice in Rochester, 66 degrees, but up the road, 61 Plymouth, 53 in South Bend. Compare this to yesterday at this time when Ed was showing you these temperatures. We're a good 20 to 30 degrees cooler right now compared to yesterday at 6 o'clock. Temperatures next several hours, I average these out from Rochester to Michigan City, a big difference there. But basically 50s falling into the 40s the next several hours. In your forecast, we'll look ahead to more ups and downs in the next 7 days and several chances for rain. Also big severe weather outbreak ongoing right now in parts of the plains. So if you have family and friends out that way, we'll talk about that and let you know how to give them a heads up here coming up in your forecast in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Matt, thank you. He just made a mistake. Those words from Tyree Bradbury's mother. A jury found the 17-year-old guilty of John Swovlin Jr.'s death. WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer is at the live desk. Suzanne, Bradbury is the last suspect to be punished in connection to the toddler's death.
But the South Bend teen will have to wait to learn his fate. 8 men in total were charged after Swovland was gunned down in his aunt's front yard. Bradbury's attorneys are asking the judge to consider the way she will sentence him since he's under 18 years old. He could go to jail or he could be sent to a Department of Corrections juvenile facility and housed until he turns 21. Now, if that happens, it's not clear if he would serve any time after he turns 21. The judge will hear arguments from the prosecution and defense on that option. She could also take into account Bradbury's mother, who took the witness stand today. Well, I called Patricia Bradbury to the stand.
She wanted to make a statement as to that she believed that Mr. Bradbury had some difficult life circumstances in those first 15 years of his life before this happened.
Bradbury is facing up to 65 years for murder, and should he be sentenced as an adult, that criminal gang enhancement charge would double that, meaning he could spend up to 130 years in jail. Of course, all of them will be back in court in mid-May. At the live desk, Suzanne Spencer, WSBT 22 News.
All right, thank you very much, Suzanne. Charges against this man now upgraded to murder. Police say 26-year-old Marcus Gary shot 30-year-old Lavelle Evans at the Washington Garden Apartments in Elkhart earlier this month. Evans died from his injuries a few days later.
In less than an hour, Elkhart School Board expected to decide if it will move forward with public meetings that could change where your kids go to school. Now, the biggest change, combining Central and Memorial high schools. Central would house freshmen only. It's part of a $33 million 5-year strategic plan. The plan also includes options to have K through 8 schools or 6 through 8 middle schools.
New at 6, South Bend has another food truck. Take a look at this. It's called Cool Runnings, and it serves Jamaican food. It is based out of Michigan City, but it will be in town every Tuesday at the corner of Lafayette and Jefferson. You'll remember the city's food truck proposal went into effect earlier this year.
A local school district getting ready to make some big changes. We're taking a look at the restructuring plan for Benton Harbor ahead.
And cooler tonight, but Matt is tracking more rain for the final week of April, when you can see those showers next.
Now, your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin.
Cloudy today, but quiet weather for us.
A lot cooler.
Yeah, a lot cooler here, but really warm down south. They're dealing with big storms. This would be one of probably one or two of the big outbreaks of the spring season. So here's our radar again. We're all clear here, but I do want to zoom out a little bit and show you the tornado watches, severe thunderstorm watches. The pink is severe thunderstorm warnings, or watches, excuse me. The yellow here are tornado watches in the plains. Out here, big storms are already developing, and they're going to get much stronger here in the coming hours. Orange would indicate severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, here's Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska. There's severe thunderstorm warnings, even tornado warnings with some of these. I want to zoom out here a little bit and show the risk area. This is where we're really watching for the next several hours for the potential of big storms. Right now we're in the 50s, but look downstate at Indianapolis, 66. It's in the 70s down in Evansville. Locally, though, 53 in South Bend, 43 along the lakeshore, but you can see some 60s, especially the farther south you live, thanks to north wind. That is keeping us much cooler. It's 53 at the airport, dew point's 49, giving us relative humidity in the 80% range. Satellite and radar imagery here, the storms. Indianapolis right here, down by the Indy airport, seeing some big thunderstorms. Also Anderson, Muncie, down towards Terre Haute and Evansville, seeing big storms out that way. Want to zoom out, and this is where we're keeping our eye. If you have friends and family in central Oklahoma and the northern part of Texas, right here, it wouldn't hurt to give them a call, check up on them, say, hey, keep your eye out for the potential for real big thunderstorms in this area right here. So that would be Dallas, Fort Worth, up towards Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and that whole region. The ingredients are there today, this evening, for long-live, real strong tornadoes. So again, if you have friends and family down there, give them a call. Say, hey, keep a close eye to your local TV stations, your weather service radios, cell phones, etc. Who knows? Your phone call could save a life because the likelihood of big tornadoes down there is really high this evening. Locally, though, nice and quiet. No severe weather here, so good news there. The boundaries down to our south, that's where the thunderstorms are at, Indianapolis, Evansville. Here at home, cooler area and some showers possible later tomorrow. So Futurecast will reiterate that. Notice overnight tonight, nothing to talk about. As we go throughout our day tomorrow, pretty quiet. We'll see an increase in clouds, especially in the afternoon. And notice most of that precipitation stays down by that boundary, but it actually lifts a little bit by the evening. So we'll see some rain showers overnight, maybe a rumble of thunder, but the severe weather here, the chance for that, really small. We're just talking a couple thunderstorms and some rain showers late tomorrow and into Thursday. So 43 tonight, mostly cloudy skies for your day tomorrow. We'll go with mostly cloudy. The best chance for rain will actually be dinner time and thereafter, especially the evening and overnight. Next several days, our normal highs in the middle 60s. We go up and down from the 50s to 60s the next several days. So nothing too extreme in the cold or warm sector, just a typical spring forecast there. But again, we've been trying to reiterate, if you have friends and family in the plains, just to give them a heads up, because today the ingredients as a forecaster, you look at everything and the alarms start going off. It's through the charts out that way. But here, nice and quiet.
Yeah.
That's good. Matt, thanks.
All right, we'll be right back.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin. And sports with Pete Byrne. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
Well, we're still waiting for presidential candidate Hillary Clinton to take the podium in St. Joseph County. She's at the AM General plant talking about manufacturing jobs. This is a live look at that campaign event. Now, she's expected to take the podium any minute now. We're also streaming the entire speech on our website. You can go to WSBT.com to see that.
Benton Harbor area schools are about to see some very big changes. They are trimming the number of school buildings from 7 to 4 with a new structure for their students. WSBT 22's Caitlin Connon is here. Caitlin, these students will be in grade bands now.
Jennifer, the schools will be divided by age group. One school each for K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. One of the big motivations for the change was money. Right now, Benton Harbor has an almost $15 million deficit. They only have around 2,300 students in the district, so it's hard to get funding. This restructure will help them save about $200,000 per year. There are benefits to the students as well. Grouping similar ages allows students to focus on what those students need most in their education.
The knowledge is there. There just needs to be an overarching cohesiveness of the resources, purposeful intent, clarity of direction, and then we have to do it.
With the small band, it gives us an opportunity to zero in on a smaller group, but more intense in terms of instruction and strategies.
Mills Walker says there are some challenges ahead, specifically transportation. With the new system, families could have kids in multiple buildings. Rick, the school district is working on how best to address those problems.
Caitlin, thank you so much.
All right, Pete's here with a look ahead at sports and already looking good for the South Bend Cubs.
Yeah, they're enjoying a really nice winning streak right now. We're going to explain why things are going so well out at the old ballpark for the South Bend Cubs. Plus, several Notre Dame players are expecting to hear their names called this week at the NFL Draft. I'll chat with one of the guys we consider to be a lock next in sports.
Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
For the first time in 22 years, Notre Dame could have a player hear his name called in the first 10 picks of the NFL Draft. It hasn't happened since Bryant Young went 7th overall to the 49ers. That was in 1994. But on Thursday, offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley might just be the guy to end that streak. Stanley is rated as high as the 4th best player in this draft. He's projected to be taken anywhere from 6th to 10th based on a number of mock drafts published just in the last 24 hours. But his fellow offensive lineman, Nick Martin, is certain to hear his name called before this draft is over, too. Martin right now is being projected as a late 2nd round, a 3rd round pick. During Notre Dame's pro day, Martin told me he's been in contact with nearly every team in the league, and they love his versatility.
It's good feedback. I'm always asking what I can work on. They always tell me what they see. Obviously, being able to play center and guard really is a benefit for me. That versatility is huge in the NFL, usually dressed in 7.
Do you have expectations as to where round-wise you might be taken?
No, I'm just looking for a job, trying to land pretty much anywhere. I'll be excited. You know, we get to play football for our job, get paid to play football. It's a dream come true for all of us, and it's a pretty special thing.
The NFL draft begins Thursday night with round 1. Rounds 2 and 3 are on Friday. Rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. Well, after a day off Monday, the South Bend Cubs will bring a 5-game winning streak to the park tonight when they open up a 6-game road trip beginning at Quad Cities. 17 games into the season, the Cubs are leading the Midwest League in batting average, also 3rd in total bases and 4th in runs scored. And before the team left for its week-long road trip, I spoke to skipper Jimmy Gonzalez about the team's early success at the plate.
That's one thing we expect from these guys, you know, to once they get on base, we're going to be aggressive when we're on the bases, and they know that, you know, so they're running hard, and getting on base is key. You know, guys are getting hits.
How contagious is hitting?
Very, very contagious, you know, as you see, you know, these last couple of days. The day before, we got a lot of hits, just didn't score runs, you know, it didn't go our way that time, but it is contagious, you know, it's, there's no one thing that you can say, oh, it happens because of this, but it just happens.
And now we're going to throw it back to Rick and Jen. As I understand, Hillary Clinton is about to take the podium.
Yeah, Pete, thanks very much. We've been waiting about 20 minutes, but this is how these things go. Want to get back to the campaign trail. Hillary Clinton, you see her right there, just taking the podium at AM General Plant in St. Joseph County.
And Democrat is here on a campaign stop talking about manufacturing jobs in Indiana. Let's listen in.
I am absolutely thrilled to join my voice with Joe's in praising the management and union of this plant, because together you have proven that we can make it in America. And not only that, export to the rest of the world. Joe, thank you. Joe's voice, his energy, his tenacity in Washington is just legendary. He fights every single day, and if I'm so fortunate enough and honored to be your president, I can't wait to work with him, because we will get a lot done to help make sure Indiana remains at the forefront of manufacturing. 1 in 5 jobs in this state are in manufacturing, and that is a higher percentage than you will find in most places. So you have figured out what needs to be done, and I want to be your partner to make it go even further. So thank you. I want to thank Andy. Thank you, Andy. Andy's enthusiasm, Howard's enthusiasm, you know, they're practically levitating. They get so excited talking about what's happening here. I want to thank Joe Taylor, president of the oldest UAW local in America.
It's the first time I've ever seen him in a tie.
Yeah. And Joe said it was the first time he's ever seen you in a tie, Joe. You look pretty good. But that's another part of this story. The oldest UAW local, a new, creative idea about how to build vehicles here on contract, as well as the ones that you created yourself, like the MV1, and then to export them. I mean, just in a nutshell, you heard what Andy said. You have Mercedes-Benz vehicles, a German company's vehicles, being made here in this great American plant and being exported to China. So that proves if we're smart and we are determined, we can outwork and outcompete anybody, anywhere. And that is my goal.
We've been listening in here for just a moment at Hillary Clinton as she speaks at AM General Plant there in St. Joseph County. She is making a campaign stop here, fresh off a campaign stop in Hammond, Indiana. This is her Make It in America speech, as she's calling it. She's pledging her support for Indiana's steel industry and her support to hold China accountable for trade abuses, is what she's talking about.
Now, we're streaming this speech on WSBT.com if you'd like to hear the rest of her comments. Of course, Patrick Roth is there at the campaign event. He's going to have much more coming up tonight on WSBT 22 News at 11. We'll be right back.
Normal high is middle 60s. Several of those in this next 7-day forecast. Next best chance for rain will be tomorrow night and into Thursday morning, then another on and off chance through the weekend.
Those April showers, that's for sure. All right, Matt, thanks a lot.
All right, have a good night.